Schools and sawmills. What did you just say? Linada's exclamation silenced the buzz of conversation in the common room. The old soldier stood up slowly, placing her balled fists on the table and leaning slightly forward. The orc opposite took another sip from his mug, looking up at her, apparently unfazed by her reaction. I said that if the Varushkins hadn't made the Black Plateau do what it did, the Empire would have lost at Solon's doubt. The orc spoke calmly, but there was an edge to his words. Linada spoke through gritted teeth. We had you. We had you at Solon's doubt, and you know it. Even without the plateau, your armies were on the verge of breaking anyway, like the undisciplined rabble they are, and I'm sorry, but what did you just say? That the Grendel armies are undisciplined. You, a soldier of the Empire, criticizes the Grendel soldiers, for being undisciplined. Batheka's chair scraped against the tiled floor as he stood up, his hands on the table mirroring Linada's. The two old soldiers faced each other across the table, noses less than a foot apart. All around the common room, students and guests exchanged worried glances. Batheka broke eye contact first, but only so he could pick up a jug and slam it down in the middle of the table. Solon's doubt, he said. The spire. He pushed the plates and bowls to one side and began to pick up random objects, slapping them down and naming them as he did so. Brine turtles, black eels, wolves of war, iron bloody helms. He reeled off the armies one at a time. The orc sat next to him, who had not stopped eating throughout the altercation, wordlessly handed several pots and pepper shakers down from the other end of the table. The Tower Jacks were further east, growled Linada. Still talking, she pulled one of her rings from her finger and balanced it atop the pepper pot, moving it into position. We were in the shadow of the tower, and you're completely ignoring the ridge. The ridge was... Damn it, give me that salt cellar! She moved the mustard pot representing the Redwind Corsairs several inches to the left, and sprinkled out a line of salt diagonally across the field. Batheka nodded approvingly in spite of himself. That damn ridge, he said. We knew you'd try to claim the higher ground. And we knew you knew, interjected Linada quickly. But we also knew that if we could put pressure on one of your armies, the Citadel Guard would move to support them, allowing us to start picking off battle magicians. Which is why we had the stone Gaia here, and that put them in the path of the Iron Helms, which, yes, which meant that they were the first to go. But look, the strategy was sound. Press the Corsairs here and pull the guard here, and then the Brine Turtles and the Sandpipers would... The orc moved around several items, but Linada was already shaking her head, moving them back into position. No, because you're not allowing for the... A small crowd began to gather, now that it was clear a brawl was not about to break out. People started to ask questions. One of the librarians who'd been with the Wolves of War started to argue with Linada about the exact situation with the army on the day of battle, grabbing the chutney jar representing them and shaking it for emphasis. Batheka's companion rolled his eyes, shifted along the bench slightly to make room for a student who was trying to get a better look at things from the Grendel side of the table, and caught the eye of one of the staff. Best send for another pitcher or two, he rumbled while simultaneously helping himself to an abandoned bowl of rhubarb crumble. This is going to go on for quite a while. Overview. A little over 3 months remain in the grand competition proposed by the merchant prince, Francesca di Martos, challenging the ambition, pride and prosperity of the League. The contest has nearly run its course, and will end at the start of the winter solstice, 385 YE. The winner will be the city that has invested the largest amount of weirwood, white granite and mithril, improving their territory and their city. Commissions do not count by themselves, only actual wains spent to build things in the League territories, But there's no requirement that the commission be completed by the close of the competition. Provided the materials have been contributed, they count towards the final scores. This means that even a very ambitious commission, like the one proposed by Diora University, could still count toward the tally as long as work had begun and Waynes had been committed to the construction. In addition to Wayne's spent building Senate commissions, Francesca wanted everything to count. The resources spent by citizens to upgrade their own businesses and other personal resources are as important to demonstrating the wealth and ambition of a city as those spent on civic works or vanity projects. Just as they did last season, the civil service has provided their assessment of how each city is doing. The table summarizes every wain of weirwood, white granite and mithril, as well as every wain spent on a personal resource. In total, the city in the lead is Savos, with 157 wains committed. Holberg is second with 153. Temeshwar third with 142. Tasato fourth with 35. And Apulian fifth with 2. With a single season left, there's everything to play for. Unless you live in Tasato, of course. They're lagging behind a bit, as you can see. Apulian wasn't part of the league when the contest began, so they've at least got an excuse. To be frank, I'd move if I lived there. Merchant Prince Francesca Di Matos. Education. We are rightly proud of our cities and defined by our universities, but it's time to recognize our academies, our curators, our engineers, our philosophers and our experts. Let's elevate the title of scholar to sit alongside Bishop, Bravo, Mountebank, et al., all with the purpose of promoting this as a route out of the academy that would sit proudly alongside all the archetypal careers in the league. Prince Bishop, Jonah von Holberg, Summer Solstice 385 YE, upheld, greater majority, 321 to 61. A timely statement of principle by Bishop Jonah von Holberg urged the people of the league to be proud of their cities and the first-rate education provided by their universities, but went on to say that it is our time to recognize our academics, our curators, our engineers, our philosophers, and our experts. There are 2 great universities in the league. Perhaps the greatest is Grand Holberg University, whose College of Engineering is renowned not only across the Empire, but in other nations as well. The establishment of the Chair of the Wolf last year was no doubt partly inspired by the challenge of the Magical College of Engineering, overseen by the Master of the Koboldi, and in turn must surely have played some part in inspiring the new Department of Architecture at Temeshwar University. This is how it is in the league sometimes. The cities are rivals, but each time one gains something prestigious, it serves to encourage the ambition of their cousins in other parts of the nation. Prince Jonah von Holberg's passionate words, coupled with the successful expansion of Holberg and Temeshwar University faculties to the benefit of the league, and with the end of Francesca's contest in sight, has in turn inspired people in Savos and Tasato to look to their own academies, colleges, and places of learning, to consider how they might embody the ambition of their fellow citizens. School of Hard Knocks. The Bravos of Holberg have flocked to the Sword Academy in Holberg, where lessons in philosophy have proved surprisingly popular. There is an opportunity to establish similar schools in Savos, Tasato, Temeshwar, and Apulus, to spread this interest in learning. The call for more education seems to catch the spirit of the moment, not least because of the influence of the Day Realm which currently pervades the Empire. The call has already been taken up enthusiastically in Holberg, where bravos are flocking to the scholars of the Sword Academy. When the school opened, they invited sword scholars of Urizen to teach there, and they enthusiastically combined instruction on swordplay with lessons on the nature of wisdom, and encouragement to independent thinking. The syllabus was quickly expanded to include emphasis on the lessons of virtue provided by Emperor Frederick, particularly this found in his most famous work, Anarchy and Liberty. Bravos are typically known for hard drinking and brawling in the streets, but those who are engaged with the school are becoming increasingly interested in studying a wide range of radical political philosophies. What is drawing such interest in Holberg would surely prove just as popular in other cities of the League. The League could benefit from creating similar schools combining swordplay and philosophy in Savos, Tessato, Temeshvar, or Apulus, if they want to encourage this new revolution. Not everyone will take an interest, of course. Even in Holberg, those bravos who are interested in Frederick's ideas on republicanism are the exception rather than the rule. But those bravos who might be minded to study civics or similar fields would surely welcome an opportunity to do so. This season, it is possible to construct a sword academy in any or all of the 4 other cities of the League that do not currently have one. Each school would require a commission able to create a sinecure. The minimum size would be 10 wains of white granite, which would need 30 crowns for the labour cost, and take 3 months to build. However, in theory, it would be possible to build a larger school using up to 20 wains. Each sword academy would need a master to lead the school. They would be responsible for setting the syllabus and for inviting the best tutors and instructors to teach there. To reward them for their efforts, they would receive a seasonal income equal to 1/3 more than a sinecure of the same size. The Master of Defence of the Scholars of the Sword Academy in Holberg is a national Senate appointment. Any new positions would also need to be League national positions with tenure, but they could be appointed by a different well-worn constitutional path, such as a judgment of appointment by the League Assembly, or appointment by tally of the votes. Sword Academy. Commission type, sinecure. Location, anywhere in Apulus, Savos, Tessato, or Temeshvar. Cost, at least 10 wains of white granite and 30 crowns. Effect, creates a sword academy in the city. Master of the Sword Academy of named city. Type, national position. Appointment, any well-worn path. Powers, income of 1 throne, 6 crowns, 7 rings, each season. Responsibilities, to set the syllabus for the academy and invite the best tutors and instructors to teach there. Savos, Diora University. Diora University is the oldest university in the League, but has been eclipsed by Holberg University. Savos is a centre for fashion, art and culture, and this inspires the Dean of the University to consider restoring Diora's fortunes by focusing on what the City of Masks does best. The University of Savos, Diora University, has had a rocky few years. Following the Grendel invasion and subsequent liberation, the university apparently encountered financial difficulties. These monetary concerns were resolved thanks to generous donations from citizens of the League and Highguard. But it cannot be denied that the college has seen better days. The oldest place of learning in the League is a shadow of its former self, long since outclassed by the sprawling campus of Holberg University. There have been proposals in the past to revitalise its fortunes, including one involving the establishment of a college of autumn magic, with a special focus on attracting professors from across the known world to take up teaching posts there. Savos is, after all, the foremost destination for ships visiting the Empire from foreign shores. The proposal for a college of autumn magic and dramaturgy at Diora seems to have attracted little support. Even the Imperial Conclave seems broadly disinterested. With 3 colleges of magic in the Empire already, perhaps the costs involved discourage the Empire. Still, ambition teaches that it is vital to aim high, to pursue dreams, and to never accept that something may be beyond your grasp. It is also worth noting that the proposal for the College of Magic was put forward before Savos underwent its transformation into the City of Masks, and that may make a difference. The League prides itself on its artists, and values art and the artists who create it more than perhaps any other nation. Savos has always been the centre of culture for the nation, tirelessly promoting an appreciation of fine things, opera, theatre, art and dance, in their siblings in other cities. The City of Masks has done much to highlight that love of the fine things that to some defines civilization at its best. While the insidious magical aura gripping the Empire subtly influences people to eschew artistic appreciation, it will never entirely dampen the fascination the people of Savos have for their art. Perhaps, some of them muse, the problem with Frederick de Savos's plan for the College of Autumn Magic and Dramaturgy is that they were too small. Diora University College of Arts. The Diora University College of Arts could be established in Savos. The proposed expansion and revitalization of Diora University would cost. The Dioran Muse would gain the ability to engage magicians and codify rituals. And the College of the Liberated could be converted to form a pastoral campus for Diora University. Building on Frederick's proposal and on the success of the House Bornay School of Couture, the Dean has shared an ambitious plan for the future of Diora University. Let other cities deal in architecture and engineering, and let Savos become the centre for the study of what it does best, the arts in all their forms. Music in all its forms, sculpture, dance to move the spirit and break the heart, poetry that inspires, writing that helps the reader see themselves and their world with new eyes, the crafting of clothes and jewellery that will change the way people adorn and express themselves, drama that celebrates the tragic, the comedic, the historic, and the whole of human experience. The project is ambitious and will need extensive investment from the citizens of the League. The plans for Diora University College of Arts will require 110 wains of white granite, 60 wains of weirwood, and 10 wains of mithril. It will have a labour cost of 540 crowns, and take 9 months to complete. It would have an upkeep to the Senate of 20 thrones each season, though, as the Dean rather pointedly points out, over a year that amounts to only slightly more than the League contributed to the Imperial Treasury for the Regario dossier during the spring equinox. The college would create a title, the Dioran Muse perhaps, who would be responsible for promoting the arts across the League and the Empire as a whole. The title would be a League national position, but while the Dean would prefer that it be appointed by tally of votes, they would not object to the idea of it being appointed by auction of the seats, provided it remained League national. Once completed, the college would provide a number of benefits. While the main focus would be on the arts, it would also attract a number of magicians to both study and teach at the university. This would allow it to function as a college of magic, albeit not the way that the colleges in less sophisticated parts of the Empire function. The college would be able to codify arcane projections from any realm, but at a base codification rate of 0 ranks each season. The Diora Muse would be able to spend money to speed up the process. The first 5 ranks of additional research in a season costs 2 thrones. The next 5 ranks cost a further 5 thrones. The next 5 ranks cost a further 10 thrones, and so on, doubling the price for each additional 5 ranks to research within the same season. The ritual text produced in this fashion would of course be property of the Dioran Muse to do with as they saw fit. It would also be prestigious, attracting students, teachers, as well as artists from across the Empire, and indeed the known world. Building on the historical reputation of Diora University, it would ensure that Savos became the undisputed centre of artistic endeavour for the Empire for the foreseeable future. In addition to the cultural benefits, the staff of the College of the Arts would take advantage of the opportunity to liaise with these visitors. Inspired by the proposal of House Bornay last year, the faculty would seek out opportunities to acquire schema for mage robes and magical jewellery, unknown in the Empire. Once a year they would present at least 3 opportunities to the Dioran Muse to acquire either the schema themselves or examples of the magic items they created for their personal use, or to benefit the nation or the Empire, as the Muse saw fit. House Bornay has already been approached to see if they would be prepared to share the schema for the 4 masks of the cities that they have created, and have agreed that if the college is built, securing the prestige of Savos as a cultural centre of the known world, they would make those schema available to any League artisan who wished to study them, similar to the way they make the schema for their mage robes available to Imperial citizens. The opportunity to expand Diora University remains available until the end of the winter solstice 385 YE. If it is not taken up by then, the chance will be lost. The Dean is keen to see the commission begun as soon as possible, obviously, as it could potentially secure the victory in Francesca's contest for the City of Masks. College of the Liberated. If the Senate commissions the Diora University College of the Arts, they might allow the purchase of the College of the Liberated. If they do, this will contribute 20 wains of white granite, 20 wains of weirwood, and 120 crowns to the construction. As part of the plan, the Dean proposes to purchase several sites around the city, and in a few cases outside the walls. One of the proposals involves acquiring and converting the College of the Liberated in Trivento. That building was built with the best of intentions, says the Dean, but it has served its purpose. In the last few years, attendance has slowly waned, and its curriculum shrunk down to the point where Diora University could deliver it more effectively. The beautiful building itself will become a vital part of the new college, allowing students to work in idyllic pastoral surroundings, with plenty of space for auditoriums, theatrical workshops, and dance studios far away from the constant hustle and bustle of the city. Only the Senate can take advantage of this opportunity to reduce the cost of the college. If the motion specifically mentions allowing Diora University to take control of the College of the Liberated to put it to new use, it will abrogate the title of Dean of the Liberated and remove the great work. But it will effectively contribute 20 wains of white granite and 20 wains of weirwood to the commission, and 120 crowns of labour. Rather than building a new campus outside the city walls, the College of the Liberated will be converted to fill that role. Diora University College of the Arts. Commission type: College of Magic. Location: Senior in Savos. Cost: 110 wains of white granite, 60 wains of weirwood, 10 wains of mithril, and 540 crowns in 9 months. Special: allowing the purchase of the College of the Liberated contributes resources to the project, but removes the great work benefit. Effect: creates the Dioran Muse, and cements Savos as the centre for the arts in the Empire. Time limit: if the Diora University College of the Arts is not commissioned by the end of the winter solstice 385 YE, the opportunity is lost. Opportunity: this commission has required elements. If any are not all fulfilled, the commission does nothing. Dioran Muse. Type: national position, appointment, tally of the votes, or auction of the seats. Powers: to codify ritual texts, acquire unique schema or magic items. Responsibilities: to encourage the celebration and study of the arts throughout the League and the Empire as a whole. Opportunity: this title has required elements. If any are not all fulfilled, the title does not gain some or all of its powers. Tasato, 5 Cities Military Academy. Tasato lacks a single prestigious university, but there is an opportunity to create an impressive military academy. Establishing a military academy in Tasato would allow the League to support a 3rd army. The academy would require 30 wains of white granite, 30 wains of mithril to establish, and 180 crowns, and take 6 months to complete. Tasato is the site of 2 prestigious centres of learning, the School of Epistemology and recently established Barossa School of Imperial Strategy. The latter was founded only a couple of years ago with the aid of the Eternal Zakelwe. It was in the library here that the retired Lenarda Prince de Tasato first met the newly arrived Orc, Batheka d'Apulian. The Apulian had purchased apartments in Tassato Regario, having determined that he had no interest in being on the front line of another war between the Grendel and the Empire. It turned out he was not the only one. Perhaps a dozen former Grendel have moved themselves and their families to Tassato since the summer solstice. The two old soldiers discovered they'd faced each other in open battle on the plains of Spiral, and they spent several days arguing, debating, and discussing the difference between the Grendel and the League military theories and practices. Batheka called on his colleagues to support his arguments, and Lenarda did the same, and after a week or so their group expanded to include many of the students and lecturers. Taking over one of the lecture halls at the School of Imperial Strategy, this impromptu salon of war engaged in spirited debates and seminars, partly historical and partly more recent. The staff asked them to leave, and they have cheerfully refused to go, as the students are very keen to hear about their first-hand experiences. As the autumn equinox approaches, the veterans reached a conclusion. With the addition of the wealth provided by Apulian, by Spiral, and the combined expertise of the human and Orc veterans, the seed of a Third League army could be planted. The Barossa School of Imperial Strategy is excellent for theory and strategy, but they believe what is needed is practical application of those skills, a place to gather and train soldiers, to store weapons and armour, and to prepare a new army. The 5 cities military academy would provide the logistical support required to muster and to support a new army. It would need to be built in Tassato to take advantage of the School of Imperial Strategy and the more practical elements of the curriculum at the School of Epistemology. It would also take advantage of the Tassatan knack for diplomacy, compromise, and influence, bringing together soldiers from all 5 cities of the League, as well as serving as a place to train and muster soldiers. It would also serve as the heart of a new League logistical corps, dedicated to supporting all the League armies. The Academy would need 30 wains of white granite and 30 wains of mithril to establish. It would require 180 crowns in labour costs and take 6 months to complete. Once it was finished, it would allow the League to support 3 armies, so long as they did not lose control of any of their existing 5 territories. Construction of the Academy and the raising of the Third Army could take place at the same time, but the new army could not be completed until the Academy was completed. If something went wrong with the Academy, then the new army would not be supported and could not be completed. If the Academy were lost, abrogated, or destroyed, then the League's ability to support 3 armies would likewise be lost, with the usual consequences. Batheka d'Apulian is keen to point out that the 5 cities military academy would also be able to incorporate the Orcs' naval acumen. The Third Army could be an Imperial Navy, just as easily. How else, asks Batheka, only half joking, is Dubtraig to become the 6th League city? Each nation in the Empire will raise armies as directed by the Senate. The Senate will appoint a general for each army, but only where the will of the nation in this matter is not clear. The Imperial Constitution. A Third Army. A general must be a national position, but the Constitutional Court have confirmed that it would be constitutional to appoint a League General by public auction. Without wishing to put the ox before the wagon, Lenarda, Prince de Tassato, and Batheka d'Apulian have an intriguing proposal. Armies, or navies, are expensive both to raise and to support. The Senate might not be minded to approve of mustering another army, so the veterans propose that whatever the nature of the Third League army, the general be determined not by unanimous decision of the senators of the nation, as is traditional, but by public auction, like the master of the imperial mint. The imperial constitution is consulted and a query sent to the Constitutional Court, who confirm that it is not unconstitutional to appoint a League General this way, provided the will of the nation in this matter is clear. Would this make the Senate more likely to support mustering the army? Would it encourage them to disperse the kinds of funds needed to purchase mithril or weirwood, as Batheka insists on reminding people? Would the senators of the 5 cities even be interested in allowing the Third League army to be appointed in this fashion? It's an interesting consideration. Whatever else happens, it's likely the Third League army, if it is raised, will be the first imperial army ever to combine both orc and human troops and officers. This could conceivably present additional problems of discipline and organisation, but the Tassatans are perhaps the ideal people to find ways to overcome such challenges, or turn them into opportunities. Military Academy. Commission type: Folly. Location: Tassato Mestra or Tassato Regario. Cost: 30 wains of mithril, 30 wains of white granite, 180 crowns, and 6 months. Effect: increases the number of armies the League can support to 3. Opportunity: this commission has required elements. If any are not all fulfilled, the commission does nothing. Holberg, the Sandfisher Port. With the help of the League, the Sandfishers have managed to complete their sawmills a year earlier than expected. They're eager to establish a port on the Semilac, but they believe that a good quality road will be needed first. Last season in Holberg, Leah Adelaar van Holberg arranged a significant loan for the Sandfishers. With that money, they were able to purchase the last of the wains they needed to complete work on their sawmills in Misericord and Utterland. They'd managed to require roughly half the materials and do half the work themselves already, but with the loan, they're able to complete construction shortly before the autumn equinox. There are now large orc-operated sawmills in the forests of Holberg, and the first trees have been cut down and are being dried to make lumber. Leah Adelaar van Holberg also raised the statement of principle suggesting that the League and the Sandfishers join forces and create a dock at Misericord for mutual pride and prosperity. Recent problems with the sovereign Dowala notwithstanding, it turns out the orcs are very enthusiastic about the idea. The Sandfishers don't have any experience with the kinds of ships that sail on open waters, but they are accustomed to working shallow waters in myriad different ways. They're eager to discuss the proposal and look at the viability of the project, provided a way can be found to finance it. A meeting is arranged between a delegation of Sandfishers and representatives of Holberg at the Misericord covered market. The orcs, to the surprise of their counterparts, bring their accountant. Citizens of the League, life is a competition, and currently Dawn and Varushka are winning the Semilac trade. Let us join forces with our neighbours, the Sandfishers, to create a dock at Misericord for our mutual pride and prosperity. Our ambition will be twice rewarded should the Sandfishers be welcomed as full citizens of the League. Leah Adelaar van Holberg, Spring Equinox 385 YE, upheld, greater majority, 368 to 18. A little less than 2 years ago, the Senate funded additional classes at Holberg University to provide access to education to the Sandfishers. Moutez Flattoes is one of the first graduates, studying business law and accountancy. He's very enthused about the opportunity to put what he's learned into practice and is advising his fellow orcs about a potential approach to the League. It is clear that the Sandfishers have already put a surprisingly large amount of thought into this. They are quick to point out that Misericord is really the only viable location for a port in Holberg. There simply aren't any really suitable locations along the banks of the nameless river in Utterland or Enneland. But the port could bring significant economic benefits to Holberg, which currently lacks a waterfront of any kind. Of course, the Sandfishers would benefit enormously from the trade as well, but that is only fair, they argue, since the region of Misericord belongs to the Set, ergo any port built there. Lengthy negotiations follow. The Sandfishers are not fools. They know a port would require a significant investment of white granite that they don't have, so they don't hide the fact that they would need the League and their allies to provide the bourse materials. Thus, their proposals include a table of charges for ships docking at the waterfront with steep discounts for all vessels flying a League ensign for the first decade that the port is operational. The proposals seem fair. The Sandfishers are keen to do well from the port, but it's clear they want to work together with the people of Holberg to ensure that the facilities will benefit everyone. Citizens of Holberg learn their trades through apprenticeships, as well as in our university. We encourage citizens of the League to share knowledge and culture with the Sandfishers, seek out apprenticeships with them, and in turn welcome Sandfishers as your apprentices. Klaus, Spring Equinox 385 YE, upheld, Greater majority, 339 to 0. The Lake's Edge Highway. Before that can happen, however, there needs to be a traversable road between the city of Holberg and the shores of the Semilac. Otherwise, merchants may find it impossible to move their wares to and from the port to the deep markets of Holberg. Flattoes suggests that a road from the Holmauer Gate through Rebeshof to the Sandfisher settlement of Lake's Edge in northwest Misericord. According to the Civil Service assessment, the road would require 30 wains of white granite. It will need to pass through the marshes of Rebeshof, which could mean especially high labour costs, but the Sandfishers agree that they will provide half the labour for the work. As a result, it would cost 54 crowns and take only 3 months to complete. Once finished, there will be a wide stone highway, banked up above the marshes, connecting Holberg and the Sandfisher town. The Sandfishers are happy for the League to appoint someone to be responsible for maintaining the road, making sure it's navigable, and dealing with any threats from the marshes, such as marshwalkers or bandits. This would mean an imperial title, perhaps the Rebeshof Road Warden, appointed by the League senators, or perhaps by tally of votes. In return for their responsibilities, the Rebeshof Road Warden would be able to charge a reasonable toll for the use of the road, paid in coin by imperials and in herbs by Sandfisher orcs. This would be a sinecure, providing 12 crowns, 10 true vervain, and 10 imperial roseweald each season the road remained open. With an agreement in principle signed with the Sandfishers, once work on the road is underway, then the civil service will go over their proposal for a port and provide the League with a full breakdown of what it might cost and how much Holberg could expect to benefit from the increase in trade that it would support. Lake's Edge Highway. Commission type, sinecure. Location, Rebeshof, Holberg. Cost, 30 wains of white granite and 54 crowns. Effect, creates the Rebeshof Road Warden. Opportunity, this commission has required elements. If any are not all fulfilled, the commission does nothing. The Rebeshof Road Warden. Type, national position. Appointment, League senators, or tally of the votes. Powers, an income of 12 crowns, 10 true vervain, and 10 imperial roseweald each season. The responsibilities, to maintain the road and keep it and the merchants using it safe, dealing with any threats. Opportunity, this title has required elements. If any are not all fulfilled, the title does not gain some or all of its powers. Temeshvar, city by night. Conjunction. A free company has come out of the Vardstein Vale and are terrorizing a small settlement in Vardstein Vale. The Sentinel Gate will open at 5:45 on Saturday to Polseg Woods, Vardstein Vale, Temeshvar. This skirmish is a combat highly likely encounter. The custodian of the Assayers Guild is responsible for dealing with the Company of the Torch. Deep in the wilds of Temeshvar, in the woodlands of Vardstein Vale, the Company of the Torch are living up to their name. The company has spent the last week tormenting the secluded mining settlement of Polseg, rich from journeying into Lorenzo's deep pockets. It was only due to luck that Vera de Temeshvar, a member of the Assayers Guild, chose to delay her visit by a fortnight, which meant that she journeyed to the settlement and uncovered the actions of the company. From the missive she sent her overseer, it seems that the mercenary company rested at Polseg just 10 days ago, and that they were intent on journeying to the Broken Wilds to find out what happened to their former rivals, the Green Torch. The company that returned were changed, brutal, and demanded that the settlement turn over all that they'd taken from Sinkhole, or else suffer. The Company of the Torch is well known for its warriors. Given that this represents a threat to the Assayers Guild, it is the responsibility of the custodian of the Assayers Guild, Marcus von Temeshvar, to deal with the Company of the Torch.